You feel this nervousness on the phone there?
Sir, I've been trying to make an urgent phone call up there.
Well, I don't think it's something I want to do on an overseas phone.
You gotta make some phone calls. Hang up the phone. Prank caller.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome once again to Packernet After Dark. This is the call-in show of the Packernet Podcast Network. If you'd like to call in, if you'd like to participate in the show, please feel free to do so. The phone number here is 608-501-0718. New callers go directly to the front of the line, but we don't have any new callers today. Gosh darn it. Fortunately, we got Aaron to bail us out. So, Aaron, what's going on?
Hey, Ryan. This is Aaron. So, I want to know if I'm wrong about something, right? So, you remember, like, in this last game against the Bears, obviously, when Matt LaFleur didn't kick the field goal, right? On fourth and 4 or whatever, right? Fans are really mad that Matt LaFleur didn't kick the field goal and take the points, and they're like up in arms about calling his play calling terrible, right? And they're saying, oh, why didn't you just take the points and whatever? Am I wrong in thinking that this is basically the exact same situation against the Bucs a few years ago in the playoffs, right? Like fans, like there was it was like a fourth and I think pretty much the same thing, like 4th and 4, 4th and 3, which we were not converting on offense at all. So Matt LaFleur decides to, because we wouldn't need a field goal anyways, we need a field goal anyways. Matt LaFleur decides to take the field goal, and every fan was questioning his play calling ability, and they were like, "Why did you?"
To this day, I stand by the fact that they absolutely made the right decision to kick that field goal, and people are pulling the math says that's not true. The math didn't look at this particular game and see that the odds are not what they normally are. That's looking at universal odds across the board. It's not looking situationally. But you're right. In that situation, Matt LaFleur was an idiot because he kicked a field goal. In this situation, he was an idiot for not kicking the field goal. I've said this 1,000 times. Nobody actually cares. They just want positive results, right? That's it. If he would have done it and it worked, would have been no problem with doing it. But because he didn't, if he'd have kicked the field goal and we ended up losing, then it would have been, you shouldn't have kicked the field goal. You should have went for you know what I mean? It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
You not go for it on 4th and 3, 4th and 4, or whatever it was. And it's just like, that was the same situation as this time against the Bears. Am I wrong in that? I could be wrong. But it seems like the same situation. But the fans are just pissed off about the opposite play calling. So it's like Matt LaFleur just for this time around, did what the fans wanted and went for it and basically said, oh, yep, that's why I kicked the field goal. And then now all the fans are like, why didn't you kick the field goal? I don't know. I could be wrong on that front. Correct me if I am. I don't know, but it just seems like the exact same situation, but the fans are just mad about a different thing, and in terms of outcome. I guess I don't know. But anyways, it's Tuesday, and everything is good and golden. Anyways, have a good day. 49ers week, let's go. Go Pack, go. Bring it together. I'm trying to think of an Office reference that I can plug in here. But I can't really. So, anyways, peace out. Bye, Ryan.
And it's not impossible because they are different situations to rationally want one and the other. I'm saying that the vast majority of people are full of crap. It's the same with his play calling sucked. You don't even know what the plays he called were. How can you say his play calling sucked if you don't know what the plays were? What were the plays? And why did they suck? What was the theory behind the play? Why did they run it? Was it the play calling or was it the execution? The bottom line is when people say the play calling sucked, it just meant he called plays and they were not successful. Well, that doesn't mean the play calling sucked. It might have been brilliant play calling. You have no freaking idea. It's just how it goes, man.
Hey, Ryan, this is Aaron again. So I've been listening to the Packernet After Dark, so when people called in during the game and then shortly after the game. A lot of people are really, like, down in the dumps, and, I mean, for when they called in, rightfully so. But here's the way that I look at it, right? Like, you kind of also touched on it a little bit, but, yeah, so, like, in the grand scheme of things, we're having an expectation of blowing out the Bears, and blowing out the Bears is a great thing, right? Like, I love it. I love when that happens and everything, but what are the memorable games in the history of the Packers versus Bears? It's not, in a lot of senses, the blowouts.
Oh, I'll wildly disagree with you on that one. I remember the blowouts. I distinctly remember every blowout the Packers have had.
And whatever. It's the games like this where it came down to the last second field goal block, where we're going to look back on this and remember this game. Like, it was not always the most fun to watch, and the Packers did not play their best. And we let the Bears look like a very, very competent team. But at the same time, like, this is a game that we're going to remember. This is a game that the Bears fans are going to look back and remember, and how painful it was to think of this game. Like, it's not something that's just going to go away, you know? Like, this is like one of the games that make the Packers-Bears like rivalry as historic as it was, or as it is, and well, I should say was, because yeah, it's not like other like players have said, it's not been competitive lately, except for this game was. But if the Packers get it together moving forward, if I want them to, I think they have a very good chance of doing it. But if they get it together moving forward and play to their utmost potential, like, that's going to be even more of a dagger for the Bears. You know? Like, yeah, it's just one of those games that it's like, yeah, it was difficult to watch, and I get it. I was the same way as everyone calling in. I was like, what the heck is going on? And then I ate food, and I was feeling better, weirdly enough, during the game. But anyways,
just hangry.
Yeah, it's just one of those, it's just something that it's like, yes, it sucks, but in the greater scheme of the Bears versus the Packers, I think this is going to be much more memorable and much more of a memory than if it was a blowout. Anyways, peace out again. Have a good noche. Bye.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm tired of talking about it. I know you called on Tuesday, so it's a little bit more new, but I'm just kind of over it. I think we've exhausted this conversation, to be completely honest.
Brian, this is Nico.
What's up?
Idaho. I just listened to the podcast where you relived the third and fourth quarter during your podcast, and I tell you that I almost said everything word for word that you said. It kind of sucked because I had people over, and I wasn't able to just delve into it and scream and blast the TV, but everything you said, I said. I tell you what, clearly there's stuff to fix, and there's a billion excuses, and then there's a billion non-excuses. All I can say is we went down to a divisional team, and this is their Super Bowl, and they clearly had a good game plan. They played good, we had a week to prepare, and I don't know if went well there, but maybe we prepared a little, but they came to fight, but we snuck away with one at the last second. And, maybe this is the one time the Bears are going to beat us, and it's going to be another 10 years. I'm okay with that. And, years down the road, we won't remember how we were feeling this season because, those feelings kind of fade away. We'll just remember that freaking victory we had against the Bears. And if I wasn't driving my car home from work, I would maybe cue up the Bears Still Suck song maybe sing a bar or two, don't you know? But yeah, I tell you, it's just reliving it again was amazing. I tell you, you know what I do? Kind of similar. About once every year in the off season, I'll just rewatch the highlights of the win we had when Aaron Rodgers hurt his leg and then was out, the whole game and came back in the second half. That too is a game similar to this in that we won, but we actually did stuff cool, but just we surely didn't think we were going to win that game. So man, I tell you what, go Pack, go! The Bears still suck. We may not win the Super Bowl this year, but I tell you what, that was a freaking amazing game. So peace out.
It maybe just depends too. One person's amazing game is another one's bullcrap game. It was funny. I remember there was, I had seen, I don't remember where exactly I saw it, but something to the effect of a lot of other teams' fan bases, they get up and leave when they're up by like 20 points. They're like, well, we won. I'm going to go beat traffic. I'm not that fan. And I've noticed that never happens in Lambeau Field ever. So I think most Packer fans are just built a little different. I don't think any of us are the kind of people that when it's a blowout, we're like, well, that wasn't as entertaining, but I'm glad they won. It's like, that was the best game I've ever seen in my life. And you have the best week ever. Super happy, super just great. I think maybe a lot of other fan bases sneak out a win. They're like, yeah, we got them. We're still better. And Packer fans are like, that was bullcrap. That was absolute bullcrap. I don't know. I can't explain it, but it just is what it is, man. I don't know. That's just how it is, I guess.
What's up, Ryan? Kyle from Madison.
What's up?
So I was wondering what your thoughts were on the game plan this week. And I'm not so much talking about play calling. I mean, I'm sure you've had 100 people calling talking about the dang reverse. Which can I just say, look, if you're not going to stop doing it, can we at least, have a rule where we only run the reverse, in between the 40s? You know what I mean? Because, in my understanding, the things that make that a good play really don't work inside the 20. Maybe I'm just a simp and I don't understand football, so, okay. But outside of play calling itself, I'm just talking about game plan. Because it's interesting to me, I don't think that the Packers necessarily had the wrong game plan here. They wanted to really, I think they looked at their run defense of Chicago and they really saw some opportunities there. And, they've got some players in the secondary. And so it kind of worked out. But just the way that the Bears chose to play it also, it had the result of shortening the game. And it reminded me, and you have to forgive me on the year, I think it was 2020, because in my memory, I don't have fans in the stands. Maybe I'm wrong, but you remember when we played the Vikings? I'm going to say 2020. And it was it was freezing cold game at Lambeau, windy as heck. And the Vikings just ran it with Cook all day. And I want to say the Packers only got 4 possessions the whole game. Some outrageous, it was 1 per quarter because they were doing these 12-minute drives. And it really was, that was tough sledding because then everybody tried to do that to us. And you could really see how, whether on purpose or accidentally because of the game plan of both teams, this game got shortened a lot in ways, especially the number of opportunities that the Packers had. And I don't know, we have this super explosive offense at times. I don't think necessarily, I understand it for the Chicago game plan, but I think we need to play a little more explosive. And then as far as, I don't think our defense is good enough to play that kind of ball control, win by 2 possession game, In soccer, there's a saying, the most dangerous lead is a 2-0 lead, which sounds stupid on face, but really what it means, and it works in the NFL too, is you can have a 2-goal lead or a 2-possession lead and it feels like you're in complete control. But then the other team suddenly scores a touchdown or gets a goal and suddenly the psychology of the entire situation changes, Right. And I just feel like we can't really do that kind of ball control game plan with our defense right now. But, and maybe just let them spread their wings a little bit on offense and really try and blow some people out instead of keeping it so close to the vest. But I don't know, just curious your thoughts on the general game plan or how you think this offense in particular should go about game planning going forward. What are we? What do we do? What?
Part 2, here we go.
Sorry, just finish that thought because I think I got cut off. But what are we? offensively in particular. Defensively, I don't know yet. It might be some time, and depending on who's available to find the identity of our defense. But on offense, I don't know what we are. Some of that's the fact that our quarterback was out a couple games. We've had a couple different identities, and we've had a game plan to availability, and we've had a game plan to the ability of some people with injuries, including our quarterback. But I don't know what we are as an offense, what our identity is. And I want to know what you think about that, because I struggle to it's been a while since I couldn't just tell you, what we're up to on offense, the Green Bay Packers. Usually that'd be out immediately if you ask me. And I'm struggling to understand exactly what we are. So I want to get your thoughts.
Well, I think that is part of the problem with the offense, and that's part of the struggle for Matt LaFleur, is that he doesn't know what he has either. I've been talking about this a lot lately, but thought we had a guy in Wicks, built an offense largely around Wicks, and he was a massive disappointment. Now we got to change our offense. Looks like Jaden Reed's blowing up. I guess we got to build this around Jaden Reed, right? Same with Tucker Kraft. He starts to blow up. Suddenly he's getting snaps on every single offensive snap because he's so important to this offense. Then Tucker Kraft and Jaden Reed start to fall off, but Romeo Doubs explodes. Okay, I guess we got to start feeding Romeo Doubs, but then he decides he's going to fall off. Now Christian Watson's starting to emerge. What the hell is Matt LaFleur supposed to do? You can't freaking count on anybody. None of these guys can just stay up. None of them can. And we're constantly mad at Matt LaFleur. Well, why don't you just give it to the guys who are good? Who's good? Who's good? I mean, yeah, maybe in the moment you try to change an entire game plan you spent a week building, but that's not really a recipe for success. I think it's a massive problem. We also have a run game that you would like to be able to run through, but you have a terrible run blocking offensive line. And you have a situation where the 30th ranked run defense is able to stop the run game because our guys can't freaking block. Good question. What do you do? I don't know. I don't know what you do. I think you go on a case-by-case basis. You try to tailor the weapons that you have on offense to the opposing defense, and you try to call the right plays to attack their defensive style, which means it's not about an offensive identity. It's about, can we morph into what we need to be able to beat this opponent? That's a great thing. I think it's significantly better than having some kind of an identity, because that makes you static. You shouldn't be static. You should be able to morph into whatever it is that can beat your opponent. And I think we have the talent to do that. The question is, who's going to show up? If I build this game plan, can I count on you? If we're going to try to lean on, let's say, Jaden Reed a little bit, or Christian Watson down the field, or Tucker Kraft across the middle, or whatever, like if that's our game plan in this game, or run game against the Bears, can I count on you? And unfortunately, the answer way too often is nah. And we're trying to push the offense through this person because that's what we need to do to attack this style of defense, and that guy can't catch. Now, what do you do? What do you do right now? Throw to the other guy? Well, that changes everything. It's not that easy to just throw to the other guy. The other guy does different things and has different strengths, which maybe aren't to the benefit of playing this style of defense. We just need guys to frickin' step up. Matt LaFleur can handle it. He knows how to put together a really good game plan. He knows how to call the right plays and everything else to beat a particular defense. He knows how to do that. The problem is nobody ever shows up on this frickin' team. It's been going on since forever. We've seen it since forever. Just all of a sudden, like, what are they doing? Why can't Jordan throw? Why can't that guy catch? Why can't they block? What is going on? Don't know. I don't know the answer to the question. I don't. That's really the thing. Matt LaFleur is out there trying to put together a game plan, not knowing who the hell's going to show up in a given game. It's one of, I guess, the benefits of having like Rodgers and Devontae. Same game plan every week, right? More or less. I mean, we run slightly different route concepts, but the bottom line is really good thrower throws to really good catcher. That's the game plan. Mix in a little bit of running here, throw to the other receivers, which is basically like a trick play. Gonna throw a deep shot to MVS, like, oh, gotcha, you didn't catch it, but you didn't see that coming, did you? Yeah, you better watch out. We might do it again. For why you would care, I don't know, but we might. Big third down conversion to Lazard, like, all right, good, that's right, I forgot he's on the team. Yeah, anyways, Devontae. It's easier to do that because you have guys you can rely on. Rodgers is going to be Rodgers pretty much every game, and Devontae is going to be Devontae pretty much every game. We don't have that anywhere. Zach Tom is fairly reliable. Honestly, Rasheed Walker is fairly reliable. If by reliable you mean he's a very consistently good pass blocker who just has no ability to run block. But at least you know what you have in him, and he's the same frickin' guy every day. Let's take a break, because I want to just give you a few examples, because I know I've done this, but we're going to go through some examples. We'll take a break. We'll be right back. All right, here's just a couple examples, okay? So Josh Jacobs has actually been relatively reliable, but just for the sake of illustration, and I want to be very clear, just for the sake of going through this very quickly, it's either good or bad. And bad doesn't necessarily mean bad, it just means not good, all right? So 70 and above is good, below a 70 is bad. Ready? Here's Josh Jacobs, bad, good, good, bad, good, good, bad, good, bad, good. Here's Rasheed Walker as a pass blocker, okay? Not even going to bother looking at his overall grade because his run blocking's so bad, he basically doesn't have any good grades. But here's his pass blocking, bad, good, 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 bad, bad, good, good. That's about as reliable as you could ask a guy to be, right? All right, here is, who else have we got here? Zach Tom, super reliable. Honestly, Elton Jenkins, as far as pass blocking, also pretty reliable. Josh Myers, bad, good, bad, good, bad, bad, good, good, bad. So there you go. Can't count on that freaking guy. Tucker Kraft, who PFF hates, is bad, 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 good, bad, bad, good, bad, bad. Sean Ryan, bad, bad, good, good, bad, good, bad, 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 good. Jordan Love, bad, 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 good, 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 bad, good. Romeo Dobbs, bad, good, bad, 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 good, bad, bad, bad. We already did Josh Jacobs. Jaden Reed, good, bad, bad, good, good, bad, 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 good, good. Christian Watson, bad, bad, good, bad, good, bad, 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 good. Dontavian Wicks, bad, good, bad, 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 good, bad, bad. Jordan Morgan, bad, 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 good, bad. And Emmanuel Wilson, why not? Bad, bad, good, 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 bad, bad, good, bad. Everybody is like 50% on a given day. 50% chance that they're good. And again, there's some 60s mixed in, which is average. But 60 to me is not, I'm going to try to run my offense through you, and it's a good idea. If you're not in the 70s, it was probably a bad idea. Any player on this offense, with the exception of a couple offensive linemen, basically, anybody on this offense, if you say flip a coin, is it going to be good or bad, you're probably better off going with bad. It's 50-50 for a lot of the team. For the rest, it's less than 50%. Who do you pick? Do we ride the hot hand with Watson? Do we trust it? Are we just gambling, basically? I don't know. I don't know what you're supposed to do, but like I've been saying this entire week, somebody has to step up and grab the bull by the frickin' horns and just be that guy. That doesn't mean never having bad days. But I'm looking for, like I said, 70% would be a nice little benchmark, meaning if you play 10 games, 3 of them aren't great. I'm not asking for elite, I'm just saying pretty good. In fact, Josh Jacobs is not even there. I would say Josh Jacobs has been pretty well fine because I don't think he has a single 50. So I'll give him less than 70% because every other game that is not good is average. Anyways, here is Seth from Iowa.
Hey, Ryan, it's Seth. Couple things for you. First of all, I'm going to talk about ads. Yes, sorry, I'm going to talk about ads again. And not because of what the ads are, because I know you don't have any control over that, even though apparently Spotify focuses more on what my wife shops for than what I shop for. But anyways, no. As of the last 2 weeks, your podcast and your podcast only is giving me ads in Spanish. I don't have it on any other one, so it can't be anything like I've been shopping for anything. And I don't know Spanish, so it's not that either. So anyways, there's a new one for you. I'm guessing you have no control over it. So.
No idea, no control, and I'm starting to see that on my TV too, so I don't know. I see stuff in Spanish, and I'm like, why would this be in Spanish? I don't know.
It's more just I don't know, it's frustrating and hilarious at the same time, so maybe you can get a good laugh from it too. What else I got for you? Oh, I wanted to talk about two things, wide receivers and cornerbacks. I'll do cornerbacks first, because I think that'll be quicker. I I know that PFF, I don't know what they said last game, but it said that Nixon has been good this year. But, man, I felt like he got roasted, like 3 or 4 huge plays that game. And I just feel like I see that from him a lot. I don't know if it's just me, and maybe maybe I'm biased towards him because I've never loved him as a corner. But I'm like, I'm not making up that he gets roasted on some of these big plays. I was getting frustrated. There's someone else too. I think Bullard and Keyshawn both had one where it was like 4th and short, and we're giving them like a 7-yard touchdown. I'm like, you know that they're not going long on that play, and if they do, well, I'll take a chance on that. And don't you have safety help? But it's like a 2-yard pass, and we're 5 yards off, and they get the first down. I'm like, what the heck are we doing? The one I'm remembering specifically is Bullard. But the other thing I had was...
Yeah, and this is the same bull crap we went through with Joe Barry, where is it the players who are being told that is where because that's the play call, or does there need to be situational awareness where they should know that they're supposed to be up closer? I don't know the answer. We're not going to know the answer unless somebody actually asks the defensive coordinator about that. And I would rather them not even bother, because then it really just feels like we're in the Joe Barry defense again, where you have people asking the defensive coordinator, why are they doing this? Are you telling them to, or are they just stupid? And I don't want to relive that nightmare. And by the way, I don't know what you mean. Keyshawn Nixon is not doing well, and he's not being graded out well. I don't know who's telling you otherwise, but he's at a 56 PFF grade. It's the worst that he's been since he's been with Green Bay. So I'm not sure. I know the run defense is the only thing that's kind of propping him up. The coverage is just bad. Kind of always has been.
Do you think Stokes is he's just out of favor? They've just given him that he's not good and he's not going to play anymore. It seems like Valentine really took over last game, and in the heat of the moment, I got frustrated with Valentine a few times because he gave up some big plays, but the ones I can remember, he actually had an incredibly good blanket coverage, and they just fit it in there. I think Valentine might be something. The other thing I would like is...
well, I don't think Valentine is a good football player. I just think he's better than Stokes, and that's why he's in there.
Shoot, what's his name? Hey, the guy in the 7th round rookie... Oh, I can't believe I'm blanking on his name. You all know who I'm talking about. You love the guy.
King?
The cornerback.
Yeah, King.
He had a really good camp. I just wish we would just give him a shot. I feel like sometimes in practice they, I'm going to get hit by the 3-minute monster. I'll call back.
I'll get part 2, but yeah, I think... Look, the coaches get this stuff wrong all the time, so I'm not just blanket defending them saying, well, we don't know what we're talking about, but I also understand that a guy popping off in training camp doesn't necessarily mean anything. He might be a terrible corner, I don't know, but I'm a little biased because I really liked King in college, and he had a really good offseason, so I felt really vindicated in that, and, I don't know. They're not playing him right now. And I don't know if they will this late in the season just be like, yeah, screw it, let's give him a shot. Although, I mean, look, not that I know Brenton Cox is going to be any good, but Preston was kind of in the way of guys like Mosby and Cox. We get rid of Preston, Cox comes in, and suddenly our best pass rusher in the first game he plays in. He's got like the highest pressure rate, highest sack rate. I don't know if that's actually true, but it's got to be up there. So maybe we do need to just get some people out of the way and force King into a situation where maybe that wasn't our plan and it's not ideal, but couldn't get much freaking worse. You know what I mean? I don't know. It's not going to happen, but it's interesting enough to think about.
Hey, Ryan. So I was talking about, I think it's Kalen something.
Yep.
Is it Kalen King?
Yes, it is.
I feel that sounds wrong because of Kevin King, but maybe it is. Anyways, our 7th round rookie cornerback, I wish I'd give him a shot because sometimes in practice and whatnot, they make determinations about talent, but I feel like sometimes you don't know until they just play in a live game. And he had a great preseason, so I wish they'd just give him a shot. What if he's even our number 3 cornerback? So when people get hurt, we don't have such a drop off. Next thing I'm talking about is wide receivers. I kind of think that a couple of them are starting to pull away. At the beginning of the year, we said, 4 number 1s. And we saw Jaden Reed's explosion last year, and I think to some degree...
For the record, I had a full episode vehemently disagreeing with the idea that we had 4 number 1s. I think it was Christian Watson's dad said that. And my contention was I don't think you could honestly argue that we have 1 number 1. I think we have maybe 4 number 2s. I went through like every stat, and I said by any metric in the world, there is not a single wide receiver one, or any way in the world that you could argue that we have 4, not 1 wide receiver ones. So just saying.
Like, let's see if he can do it again. And I think he has, at least to enough of a degree that we can feel confident that he has that skill set moving forward. And so I think Jaden Reed is in our top 2. And then if you had asked me 2 weeks ago, I would have said Romeo Dobbs was in our top 2. He has good hands. He runs good routes. He just doesn't seem to be as much of a game changer as Jaden Reed and Christian Watson has really started to break out.
Yeah, Dobbs is reliable when he can be the guy that runs a nice, quick route and has great hands. And we've seen him do that, and he's beautiful at it. But as soon as his hands go, he doesn't have much utility anymore. And that's kind of the problem.
Of course, I always get nervous because he's had injuries, but I don't think he's injury prone. I think there've been some fluke stuff, but it still makes you nervous when he's been hurt that much. Of course, he had that one. He just took a brutal hit on that one earlier this year, and that's not his fault. So anyways, that's what I kind of think. I still think Wicks has potential to be wide receiver 1, like incredibly good wide receiver. His route running is just elite. I don't know where these drops came from. I don't think he had them last year. That's what sucks. It's not like it's something we knew about. The second half of last year, Wicks was incredible. So I think he can get that figured out. There's no guarantee there, but if he gets his drops figured out, I think he might be the best wide receiver we have. But as it stacks today, I think he probably got to go. I'm not going to rank 1 and 2 in any certain order, but the top 2 would be Reed and Watson, then Dobbs, then Wicks. What's going to be interesting is to see what happens in a couple of years when we have to start signing these guys or determine. I don't think any of them are first rounders, so none of them have the 5th-year option. So, yeah, we'll be coming up on, I think next year is the final year for Dobbs and Watson. And the year after that will be Reed and Wicks. So we'll see what happens. Definitely interesting. All right. Bye.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a race to the finish for who actually wants to get paid, you know? I mean, everybody was worried about who's going to be, how are we going to pay all these wide receivers this money? And right now I'm looking at it going, I just need one of them to prove to me that they deserve a wide receiver 1 contract. Because right now I got 4 guys saying, no, not me. They're playing hot potato with the freaking contract. Nobody wants it. Again, I'm fingers crossed for Watson, but we'll just have to see. And again, even if we don't have one, I understand the argument that we don't need one, and I'm completely fine with that argument. But again, we it's not about the talent; it's about the consistency. That's it. I don't have any issue with their talent when they're actually playing. It's just the fact that these guys just don't frickin' feel like showing up half the time. Romeo Dobbs just football hits him in the hands and he drops it and just walks away like, oh, crap, that sucks. Like, yeah, I guess it does. Gee golly. Shucks. It's just, I don't know. It's a little bit annoying. I'll do one more.
Hey, Ryan, Daniel from California. Yeah, listening to your episode where you're talking about Grant Cohn and their Kurt Benkert complaining about the offense and not having in the actual offense, there's not a lot of flexibility to adjust protections built into it, right? And I mentioned this before a while back, and this actually all stems back to Aaron Rodgers when I think the first year when they were, I think it was 2020 when he was on the Pat McAfee show, he actually mentioned this where the offense didn't have a lot of checks built into where you can make those adjustments. When the offense comes out generically, right? It's something that I think because LaFleur has worked with Rodgers, I think over time they made those adjustments because after the first Buccaneer game where they just got destroyed against Brady and those guys with all the exotic blitzes, after that I think they became more open to making those adjustments. And then just this last year, right, we've seen in a playoff game against the Cowboys, you see Jordan sees what the defense is doing, and instead of having Tucker Kraft go run a route, he brings him in to to the box and, he changes the protection, right? And they go on and throw a touchdown. But it's not the first time I've heard these guys don't have changes because it's the play being built off the play. So it's more emphasis on the play, even if it's the play is designed to fail. But it's all good in theory. But when it comes down to key moments, like a third down where you have this play that's designed to look like another play from a long time ago, and the defense just like, well, I don't give a shit about that play. I'm gonna go ahead and blitz this guy, and it's gonna throw everything off right here. It has to be the right blitz at the right time for the right play. So it's not just some easy thing, but depending on what's all happening, if you have insight to the whole mind of the process, you could really throw things off. So, but yeah, it's not the first time people have talked about the Shanahan playbook. And
where'd you go?
I think LaFleur has solved a lot of those issues. It seems like Kyle Shanahan still hasn't done that because he's so set on the play will win over, empowering the quarterback. That's all I got. Go Becco.
Yeah, I mean, it's tough. I mean, on one hand, I understand what you're saying, and people are trashing the 49ers right now for not giving Brock Purdy any flexibility, and it's causing them some serious problems. I do feel like, though, if the quarterback changes things too much, then the entire foundation of the offense just goes away. Because you're trying to build things off of other things, and you can't build it if it's constantly being changed. So I don't know exactly how you resolve that. I know that was kind of the big problem, I think, with Aaron Rodgers, is Rodgers didn't really give a damn about Matt LaFleur trying to build plays off of plays, right? We're going to run this so that later we can run the counter to it and get them drifting this way, and then we go this way. Rodgers doesn't give a damn, right? Yeah, that's all nice, but you called all he's looking at is the one play you called, and he's analyzing it and saying this play sucks, this play would be better. And Matt LaFleur's like, bro, that's not the point. It's not about being the best play in the world. It's about we're trying to win in the fourth quarter. So I don't know. I'm sure there's a way that they work through all that with trying to balance the flexibility while still being able to run the offense. I don't really know the details on all that and how that works, but hopefully I think they've got a pretty good system. I don't think there's really any problems in Green Bay with any of that. The problem, I think, this entire year has just come down to execution. And by problem, I mean, we've only lost a handful of games, but I mean, if guys just played cleaner football, there's no problem with this. I mean, DVOA has us, a top 5 offense, despite how crappy they've been doing. So I'm not super worried about how they have it all figured out. And yeah, I do hope that becomes a problem in San Francisco, partially. I mean, and that could be one of two or both reasons. Shanahan not wanting to give up control, basically looking at Purdy and saying, no, you're a little punk idiot and you're not going to ruin what I'm doing because I'm the smart guy here. Or Purdy just not really being capable of handling those things, or maybe some kind of a combination. I don't know. But sounds like people are kind of exploiting that a little bit. I think, was it Kurt Benkert? I think I just talked about it yesterday. I don't know. But yeah, somebody had pointed out that that's kind of becoming a problem with not making adjustments, blocking adjustments, route adjustments, these kinds of things. It's just more or less, here's the call, run it. All right, let's take our final break. We'll come back and hear from Omar.
What's going on, some modified fighter? How y'all doing? I was calling, listening to the podcast, and it's something that I keep saying I was gonna mention, and I never did. Then it just hit me. I was like, I always call about something else. I never mentioned that. I think Hafley is a good coach. We were talking about how the defensive line fell off since he became the coach. I don't think it's Hafley's fault as far as that part. I think it's who he hired our defensive line coach. I think the defensive line coach is trash because how is everybody else doing what they're supposed to do with defensive line just fall off the planet Earth? So he did hire a defensive line coach. I think that was his friend from college. I'm sure you can look that up. But the defensive line coach is trash. So if I was on the floor, I would have.
Part of the thing that's so annoying is I was excited about a defensive line because we have like 3 of them. We loaded up the amount of defensive line coaches that we have. You know, like our what was it? Our edge guy became our let me just look at it real quick at the structure of this thing. So Rebrovich he went from what, edge to defensive line coach. Then Vince Ogabasi is the guy that came over with Hafley. He is the assistant defensive line coach. So we got 2 defensive line coaches, Rebrovich and Ogabasi. We've also got 2 quality control guys, a defensive assistant, and then Campanile, however you say it, is the linebacker / run game coordinator. A lot of guys that can help out with that defensive line. I don't know how you have 2 freaking guys hired on the defensive line and you just can't get her done. I don't know the answer.
Defensive line coach. Especially when we got Salah in. And I'd be like, all right, Salah, you be the defensive line coach, you know, for the rest of the season. Right? And if our defense coordinator get pissed, they're like, no, I'm not firing him. You know, we a team. Then I'm like, all right, well, both of y'all get him out of here. Solid question. Which would probably be wrong. That'd probably be wrong. But I would do that, you know, even though that was wrong. It's like, because Salah got a good defense. Like, everywhere he's been, like, he know how to coach defense. He coaches defense for the rest of the year. We ain't got to change too much around. And I think, knowing that it's his best friend, I would love for him to be our defensive coordinator. Like, that'd be good. But anyway, I think that's the key. Whoever's teaching the defensive line, right fits, pass rush, all of that things. Hopefully y'all hear me run that piece one. But hopefully y'all, you know, dang, keep talking. Anyway, hopefully they realize that and change. Because I do think our defensive line can play better. You know, sometimes you have good coaches that get the best out of their players. And I think our defensive line coach is just trash. You can't coach an NFL defensive line. Now, you can look this guy up and maybe he'll be like a superstar from somewhere else, but I don't think so. I think he's trash. So we need to get a better defensive line coach. I don't know where, but we got to do something because I think that's what our number one key issue is. So if we fix that, I think that'll fix a lot of our problems. Good defensive line covers up bad cornerbacks, you know. Good cornerbacks cover up bad defensive lines. So we can at least get one on each level. Linebacker with that good defense. Anyway, all right, go.
Remember when we had that Smith guy? I was ranting and raving about what a great job he had done in Kansas City with those guys. He comes over here, and that's when Rashawn Gary and Zadarius Smith and all those guys blow up. I understand we probably can't pay to have the best of the best at every position ever, because we say that about special teams. Like, well, just don't get cheap when it comes to special teams coordinator. Now we can't get cheap when it comes to offensive coordinator, defensive coordinator, you know, defensive line coach, whatever. I don't know, but I don't know. I maybe it's not the coaches. I have no idea, but I do know that we promoted a guy, presumably because we thought he was very, very good at his job in Rebrovich. And we brought in a guy because we thought that he was very, very good at his job. And again, I said he's overqualified. He went from, what, was he defensive coordinator or co-defensive coordinator or something? And now he's an assistant defensive line coach? Maybe he was just the defensive line coach over there. I don't know. But he should be able to handle the responsibilities. I don't know. Maybe we got too many cooks in the kitchen. Don't know. Don't know the answer to the question.
Hey, it's Omar Firefight calling back again. And I should have my navigation interrupt me if y'all heard. Anyway, something else that I thought about was listening to your podcast. You talking about why Goop is like not hitting on these first round picks like he was. I think what he does is he goes on potential instead of necessarily production. Because I remember people was like saying when we drafted like Van Ness, like they was like he didn't even start, did all this, but he got a lot of reps afterwards or something like that. Or he started and played like something like that. But he goes after like, I don't want to miss on this potential, like, high ceiling prospect. If they got a low floor, like, that's still kind of like what Christian Watson was. But I feel like in the first round, it should be like a kind of a cutoff. Like, I don't know what part, because the first round you don't want to miss. So it's like second round, I think why he does a good job hitting it on the later rounds, because then he goes for that. Or a lot of people go for production later on, like, oh, well, he did this, so he fell out, he should be a good guy. And we might pick up somebody that got, like, injured and had, like, a good season a year before, stuff. Like, the potential, but a lot of people are like, oh, they didn't have a good season last year, they trashed, and they fall. And that's why you hit a lot of our later round picks be hits. Because, hey, if they didn't get hurt, they probably would have got, a better season. Or, like, they were reverted back to what they were. And some teams don't believe that. That's why I think he does a great job with the later rounds. But the first round picks, you got to get the most surefire. And I don't know, at what point in the draft where he kick in and say, well, I'm going over potential over production. But, I mean, I didn't hear nobody saying that Stokes was a shutdown corner when we drafted him. I just know he was fast.
Right.
So he's like, oh, he's fast, we can teach him. And to be honest with you, with our defense coordinator makes all our defensive backs better, you can tell that we don't really got good defensive backs because he knows how to teach that, man. Other than, like, Xavier and Jair and, and Williams a little bit, like, he's flashing, but other people ain't stepping up. I don't think we got good cornerbacks. But either way, I think he needs to, like, maybe switch that in the first round and then in the later, and then keep doing what he does. Like, in the first round, like, I want to get somebody that I'm not going to miss on, can't miss project. Like, even like, we talk about Brian Branch was like a can't miss prospect, but he failed because of his tape. And so we passed him. But anyway, go back up.
Yeah, again, man, maybe. I don't know. I don't want to be captured by the moment or whatever. I should look up that saying because I've used it like 10 times recently, but I don't want to get stuck in the, we're frustrated right now, so we act like everything's been a disaster, because I don't think that's been the case. Although, as I've been saying with regard to Gutekunst, I've defended him because I think he's done a great job, but you're only as good as your most recent drafts. You know what I mean? And, this one just doesn't seem to be a massive resounding success. Although, it's kind of tough when you've had your first round pick get injured and your running back that hopefully we're going to get some production out of has been injured. And, Evan Williams looked good, but then he got injured. And, the only guy that we've seen consistently is the one guy that's been kind of disappointing. We've also got guys that have potential that just can't get on the field, like Kalen King and Oladapo and Tyron Hopper look pretty actually impressive, but they just can't get on. But, the bottom line is the point is, and I know you're responding to what I was talking about, with just not being able to hit those high-end targets. I don't know, man. We'll see how it goes. I still have hope that some of these guys can emerge and can continue to grow. I was hoping that would happen with Jaden Reed. At this point, it looks like he might be taking a step back from his rookie year, pending some kind of a big explosion. Watson needs to step it up today. Like you do not go back anymore. Like, you're that dude, you stay that dude. That's it. Kraft, again, he freaking disappeared. I was hoping he could be something cool. I don't know, man. I don't really know. The other hard thing about judging Gutekunst, because it's like, was he wrong? Was he wrong that they're bad players? Because they don't seem like bad players. They seem like great players that just don't feel like showing up. Is he picking good guys and they're just not being coached properly? I don't know. Are we squandering talent? Maybe. I'm having a hard time figuring it out. And I'm sure we're not alone in this, the inconsistency factor. But again, that's one of the hallmarks of one of the really good guys. It's very easy. I know off the top of my head guys that I can go find that have very good and very consistently good grades. They're the guys that we all know. I can go check out Nick Bosa. I guarantee. He has a couple bad games for sure, but I guarantee he's very consistent at being very good. Myles Garrett. I can go look that up today. very consistently good. It's not hard to know which guys are doing it because we all know their names. The guys that are just very good at football, we all recognize them as being very good at football. And we just don't have a ton of that. And I just don't have answers for why. I don't know what to do. I know I don't want to fire Gutekunst, and I know I don't want to fire Matt LaFleur. Again, this is on a week-to-week basis. You reevaluate these things, but I just know how significantly worse things can get. I mean, we're still having people watching Matt LaFleur's offense going, man, this guy's a freaking wizard. He's one of the more creative minds, blah, 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 blah. And when you hear that, it's hard to be like, well, they didn't show up, so I want to fire the coach. Like, no, I don't want to do that. It ain't perfect, and I don't know what to do about it, but can't fire the guy. That's all I know. But we need him there. And no, we can't just demote him to offensive coordinator because that's not going to work. He wouldn't stand for it. He would leave, and somebody would hire him to be a head coach within 5 hours. So I don't know. We just keep riding. Because, all our complaints this week will be different next week. And everything that we think is great this week is not going to be good. And everything we think is bad is going to be great next week. So let's just hold off and see how she goes, I guess. I don't know what else to say.
Hey, Ryan. This is Bill in South Carolina.
What's up?
Hope everything's going good. Just wanted to say we need to let Matt and the team know congratulations on a fantastic preseason. Great record for this preseason that we're at right now, but it's time to get everything together and make that push into regular season, into the playoffs. I'm being a little facetious, but just like you were talking about on the previous podcast, that we don't have a lot of great players, it looks like, but we got a good amount of good players, but they have to play together and they have to play clean. And so let's get all that preseason stuff done and make that push. And at the end, it really comes down to who's the healthiest at the end and who's playing at their best at the end. As we know, we have great teams before that just putted out in the playoffs. So anyhow, and also one more thing, just like we always need more cowbell, we need more ukulele.
Yes.
That song that guy had a couple weeks ago with the ukulele, and that was fantastic. Anyway, all right, go Pack, go.
Well, I know what I will do for you today, and that is when we finish this, and maybe, you know what, maybe we'll just wrap it up right now. We will end it on a ukulele song. How does that sound? I appreciate all the calls. I feel like we're kind of, I don't know, man. I'm ready to move on. Again, actually we're up to Thursday now. Some of these calls were from Tuesday. I know some of these calls are a little older, but I'm just to the point of being exhausted, being upset about last week and upset about the team that has 7 wins and whatnot. I know I tend to be negative, and a lot of the positive fans will scold me, but it has been so negative that I am exhausted with the negative. So I'm ready to be excited about this team, and I'm ready to be excited about Sunday. We got a game coming up against the 49ers, and they might be gifting us some stuff. I've been complaining about how lucky the Vikings and the Lions have been with these easy opponents, and they get the Jaguars, who are just become the worst team in football without their quarterback. And of course, that's when they catch them right after we catch them, and they're la la la. And now the 49ers, we'll see, but looks like, Bosa's got a serious injury, and Brock Purdy's got a serious injury. I mean, they got some real Trent Williams, elite left tackle. There's potential that these guys are not going to play. I mean, we're talking 3 of the best in the entire NFL. Brock is one of the top quarterbacks in football. Bosa is probably the best pass rusher in football. Trent is one of the best left tackles in football. We'll see how it goes. But we have a real serious opportunity here. We're sitting at like 88% chance of getting into the playoffs. I just checked ESPN. We got a decent enough chance. We're favorited by Vegas to beat the 49ers, a hated rival, at home, which would just be the most beautiful thing in the world, because not only would it catapult us probably into the 90th percent as far as getting into the playoffs, but it just about knocks the 49ers out of the playoffs. We got to start turning our attention, man. I'm ready. I'm ready to focus on the 49ers. I'm ready to see something good. I'm ready for the team to prove me wrong. I'm ready for Christian to establish himself. I'm ready for Jaden to explode. I'm ready for Tucker to have his big day. I'm ready for Jordan to just frickin' go off because he remembers the playoffs and he is just going to torch this team. I'm ready for the defense to have a little redemption because, obviously the defense, I think, had its worst game of the season. But again, we do that capture by the moment thing where we pretend that that's the defense that we've had all year and they're just the worst and they can't do anything. And I don't think it's like, yeah, I don't know that they're good. They've done nothing to tell me, especially whenever we lose Jair, which sounds like it's going to be for a while now. We certainly struggle. But I don't want to pretend we're a bottom 5 defense just because that's how we played last week, even though I don't think we did play like that last week. Despite having some mistakes, I'm sorry. I saw Caleb play like a top 5 quarterback, and they have 3 really elite wide receivers that suddenly decided, oh yeah, I forgot, we're actually really good at football. Those guys played really well. Not totally bailing out the defenders for making mistakes, playing too far off, and just being really weak with the tackling, but that's just a reality. That, like I've said 1,000 times now, the team that lost to the New England Patriots is not the team that we saw in Chicago. It's just not. So I am as frustrated as I was. I am over the pissing and moaning, and I'm ready to move on. So with that, why don't we get a little ukulele going on? We'll see how this goes. I'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.
Get your head on straight. Purdy's shoulders kinda shaky. Nick Bosa's hip won't cooperate. So what if love ain't perfect yet? He's getting better every day. And Lambeau Field in wintertime is where the Niners hate to play. Hey, it's time to play. Let's send those Niners McCaffrey might be running wild, but have you checked the weather yet? The West Coast boys are gonna shiver while we're dancing in the wet. 7-3, ain't that enough to show you that we've got the stuff? So grab your cheese and raise it high. It's time to light the frozen sky. Frozen tundra, la la. Frozen tundra love.